Well, the Nintendo eShop is sadly closing down. They first took my precious Miiverse and now they're taking the whole store. It's quite a sad day. What do you think, Zeth? Are you sad to see the little storefront go?
Not really, to be honest.
No?
Well, I mean, I've moved on. And, I mean, you know me, I'm a physical collector, so I really don't care. And all the games that I wanted to buy, I've bought them. I just don't really care, to be honest.
See, I don't understand that at all. I like paying full price for my games digitally, years after they come out, and that is the one place where you can still do that. I think it's actually keeping the gaming culture alive. Don't you agree? Nintendo has been the only people so far that have made the games not $70, except for they just did. So my point doesn't even begin to start. I'm just saying. No. In all honesty, the eShops were not the greatest. I don't know if you guys would remember, but I used to look at it as a kid, just scrolling through the eShop, and I realized that there's a lot of shovelware on it and just a lot of really small 99-cent games that were basically mobile games but worse.
And I mean, there's a ton of great games on there. I mean, it's not like, yeah, it's kind of sad to see something that you can still purchase games on. But let's be honest, people complaining about the Wii U eShop, like I understand the 3DS eShop. There's still a big base there. 3DS was massive, but the Wii U one, it's like, who cares, to be honest? Yeah, there's a few games on there you can get for cheaper. But honestly, like, people have moved on to the Switch.
See, the other thing is, I'm not a physical collector one bit. I like to have my games on my hard drive and just being able to play them. Granted, I still don't. I sold my Wii U a few years ago, so I still don't have that. But when I had it, as nice as those Wii U discs were, I still just like sitting down and opening up my copy of Mario Maker. I know we're going into a stupid argument here, but getting back to the topic, if I had one nice thing to say about the eShop, it has to be the music. I mean, come on. Like, they're all awesome. Yeah. All of the music, the little jingles, they'd cycle them by season. That was an actual highlight, and I still like some of the little jingles today. I'll use them in some of my videos because they're just that good. They had no right to be, but
yeah, and I mean, I understand like people complaining about it if they haven't grown up with the system and like they're just now buying a Wii U or a 3DS, and some physical prices are very expensive, I will admit that. But for someone like me that collected those systems as they came out or at the time when the prices were still down, I'm done. I don't care. I've got my fill of those systems, and any game that I need, I have it or I have a physical copy of it. So I'm not really worried, to be honest.
And I understand that. I do, but I'd say for your average person, especially somebody who's like, oh, I want to go back and play on the system I had as a kid, they go play the games they love, and all of a sudden it's, some basement dweller selling their copy of, Mario Maker for 3DS for triple MSRP, and that's your only way to play the game. That unfortunately does come along with the removal of the eShop.
No, and I understand that, but I'm not really feeling it for other people, to be honest. Like, other people are really upset, and it's like, guys, these systems are 10 years old, 15 years old almost. It's time to move on to the Switch.
No, I agree with that, but
and it's not that it's time to move on because people will still play those consoles, but it's like Nintendo's moving on. Those resources that are going towards those consoles, they're done. There's not necessarily a massive amount of people still going on the eShop every day. They're more so going on the eShop of the Switch. It's the same thing with when the Wii, its virtual console closed. Like, everybody was mad about that. The Wii's almost 20 years old. You know, that came out in 2000, what was it, like 4 or 5?
It must have been, yeah.
And people were mad about that. It's like, guys, who cares?
I don't think anybody's that mad. I'm not gonna say that because I know certain social media platforms exist, but I don't think I'm particularly mad. It's just, it's just a little. I don't think anybody's being like, oh man, I forgot to buy. I don't know, just any game off of it. It's like you've had how many years to do it. It's just the fact that you can't is the only thing, and people are just, you kind of miss it.
Like, I understand. Like, I mean, I'm someone that doesn't have a copy of Pikmin 2 yet. I want to get it for the GameCube, but it's kind of a ridiculously expensive game. I'm waiting for the right price on it. On the Wii U, you could get the Virtual Console edition for the Wii for $20. That's a good price. But I don't really care because it's a digital copy. I'm not a digital person like you are, so it's not that big of a deal to me. Yes, it's kind of sad to see some games that aren't preserved, but at the same time, most of the games that I wanted, I have. Or, I have a physical copy of it. And there's other ways to play these games. It's like everybody, like the Virtual Console, for instance. You can emulate all those games. You don't need is it nice to have an actual copy of Super Mario Brothers you can purchase? Yes. But you can emulate those so easily.
I get what you're saying that there too, but for one, not everybody has the hardware for that. And two, it's you've seen the used game prices probably more than anyone. And
yeah.
I can only imagine what the prices for these games are going to become now that there is no other way to buy it from Nintendo. Once all the used copies are gone and all the eShops gone, you're basically left at the mercy of game shops and online sellers to resell them to you. And, it makes sense. Scarcity makes value and things are going to go up. But it's already in such a high state right now, just of things being overpriced. Not saying it shouldn't go. I'm just saying it's just kind of bound to happen.
No, so, I know. It'll probably rebound like a lot of different Nintendo games do. But, you can still go out and buy physical Wii U games for such dirt cheap. You can go out and buy a copy of Splatoon for $10, a copy of Mario Maker for $10, a 3D World. You don't have to get the Switch edition for $70 or $65, whatever it is. You can get the Wii U edition, which is like $15 probably. Same thing with Mario Kart 8. Now, with Mario Kart 8, you probably won't be able to get the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, at that point, why? Why not go for the Switch edition?
I don't have a Switch. Theoretically.
Okay, theoretically.
If I was theoretically going out and buying Mario Kart.
Why do you have a Wii U at this point if you're not a collector?
What if that's all you have?
Then you're stupid.
They released. No, what if you just can't? Like, they released Just Dance for the Wii till like 2017.
That's true.
Just people who don't. Either they don't want to upgrade or they don't feel the need. They're
the only thing. Like, I guess like it just doesn't matter to me anymore. To be honest, it was when the Wii was going down. I just didn't care. By the time it was down, the Switch was out, and it was 2 console generations behind, and people were getting upset about it. It's like, guys, it's really, really old. Like, I understand game preservation and all that other good stuff, but it's like, just have it already, or get it when they say to get it. They give people plenty of time to get these games. They announced the Wii closure like 3 years before it closed. Same thing with the Switch the Wii U and the 3DS. They announced it like 2 years before it was going to close. Same thing with the credit cards. Like, you wouldn't be allowed to purchase with a credit card in this many years or this many months. They give people plenty of time. So I really don't understand everybody's complaints. Like, I get it from a certain perspective of the preservation. But as far as everything else, I don't really get it.
It's not that anybody's surprised that this is happening, and it's not, and it's like, you know, just if you want something, just go buy it. You still can. You have till tomorrow. But it's for the it's like you said, it's for the preservation. If I didn't get into Wii U games, because there's a lot of people that just didn't own one, and you're like, I want to go back in this backlog. There's a few games they have it. Like if you want to play, just for instance, like Xenoblade Chronicles X, you're only playing that on the Wii U. It's already like massively marked up, I believe, and now you cannot buy it digitally. Now you have to buy it physically. You have no choice. A lot of 3DS games, I believe, like Pocket Jockey, the Solitaire Horse one, you know, the Box Boy games, all of those stuff, they never got a physical release. You know,
But
just,
again,
those are just gone.
those are all the examples you just gave. They're on Switch. Box Boy has the trilogy, I think, on Switch. Pocket Jockey is coming to mobile phones. So, I mean, I get it for some games. There's not going to be that preservation. But are you really that concerned about preservation of Minecraft New Nintendo 3DS Edition? It's like,
hey, don't you dare. That is a gem of a game.
and I
That
get it.
literally completed the trifecta of Minecraft being on literally everything. That has important historical value.
I mean, I get it. I really do get it. But at the same time, just some of the arguments and the validation that people try and have for it not to close makes no sense to me. Like, there's a ton of resources that go into having the servers up for those, making sure that people can purchase those games and that the games download. That's a lot of stuff to still have for a console that barely sold, what,
I don't know,
12 million units?
but to be fair, yeah, that also includes the 3DS section, which I'm sure is still a little more popular, but
That's what I'm saying. The
it's
3DS
nothing-
one
it's just life,
makes...
though. Yeah, you know, it's going to close, and it's just going to happen. I don't know who's getting too upset about it, but it is just part of life, you know? You know, things will move on, it'll all be, and yeah, so.
But, so anyway, I wanted to kind of take a moment, too, to just talk about some games. Now, obviously, when this video comes out, the eShop will be closed. So, for us, we're going to recommend some games that you can still buy physically. So, Jace, what is a game that you would recommend that people go out and buy physically, that you can still buy physically even though the shop closed?
See, I would argue that there are most games that were made for it were physical, so it's hard to kind of pinpoint a couple in particular.
Well, just
And-
any game then.
Any game?
Name a game and I'll probably know if it's physical or digital. Oh my gosh, can you name a 3DS game?
I can't.
Have you played a 3DS game?
A couple. Oh,
How
I got
many?
it. I got it.
Okay.
So not these ones, but this one right here, Professor Layton, Miracle Mask, and I can't even get the Arzon Legacy anymore because it's just really expensive to buy physically. But I have the entire Professor Layton series for the DS and 3DS, and it's already hard enough to get them physically. And now that I can't buy them digitally, I don't think I'm ever going to complete that collection. But if you're looking for a pretty solid puzzle game, just any of the Professor Layton ones would be a good pickup before things get too expensive.
Those are good recommendations. I couldn't get into them like you tried, but they were too hard for me. I got stuck on like the first puzzle for like every single one of them.
Oh man, I refuse to spend the hint tokens. If you know, you know.
For me, I can't recommend the two 3DS Zelda remakes enough. The Majora's Mask and the Ocarina of Time remake. Both are fantastic remakes. They fix a lot of the issues that people might have with the original, like the aiming, for instance. I cannot stand it in the original games, but they have the gyro aiming in the new one where you just move the system. Very intuitive and very useful. Obviously, the graphics are better. It runs at a smoother frame rate. And it's two of the greatest Zelda games ever created right there in your pocket. And you can pick them both up for very, very cheap. Like, I think Ocarina of Time goes for like $15, and Majora's Mask 3D is like 20. Both are like bargain bin games.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
One other thing I'd like to say is don't miss out on the chance to download some of the like free 3DS games. I don't know who the audience is for it, but if you are not into Metroid Prime Blast Ball, I have bad news for you. You may never be able to get into it after tomorrow.
Yeah. I know we both picked up a copy of Federation Force.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
we need
Was
to
that...
play that.
Yeah, is the servers aren't going down for certain things, right? It's just the
No.
eShop, just Miiverse, nothing like...
Yeah, when Nintendo announced the Switch and like the Switch came out, they said that Mario Kart 8 and like Mario Maker and like all the servers that were still like really good, there's still going to be plenty of continuation with that. They haven't announced anything to do with online multiplayer or the servers with that aspect. Like even Mario Kart Wii, like they were still having that go online for years after the Wii U came out. That one was the most surprising. So they're not probably going to take away servers for a very long time. Probably not. Probably even like when Nintendo's next console comes out after the Switch, they'll probably still have the servers up for the Wii U and the 3DS.
That's good to know. That is good to know. But I'm kind of in the same boat with you too. I don't think that it's that big a deal that these shops are closing down, but I do kind of worry for the future with things like cloud-based games becoming more popular, especially on Switch. None of the PlayStation VR 2 games have gotten a physical release so far. They're all digital, and they haven't even mentioned if I feel like we are kind of straying away from physical games. So when those storefronts close, there might be a bit more to say about it, I feel.
Yes. See, that is my issue. I don't care what you care for, if it's digital or if it's physical, but I want a copy of it. Like, I need to make sure this is on my hard drive. The whole thing with cloud-based gaming, like if it's a streaming service, like, and you don't own the copy and you just pay for like a catalog of games, like Xbox's Game Pass, but let's say it was a streaming system, I wouldn't mind that because you're not paying for the games. You're paying for the whole entire service for each month.
Right.
But what I hated was Stadia's method where they were like, all right, we're going to make you pay for online and we're going to make you pay for each copy of the game, but you don't actually own the game. You don't. It was like a ticket, basically, that told the computer you to stream the game to your console. And that's a retarded idea in my book. Like
Stadia
I said,
out here selling the NFTs before it was cool.
It's like I said, I don't mind digital. If I have, if PlayStation Plus gives me a free game, I'm not gonna go out and buy the physical edition of it. You know what I mean? Or if it's cheaper on digital, I will get the digital edition. I did that with Miles Morales, Spider-Man. But I do prefer physical copies. And when it comes to the whole cloud-based system where people want to go, it's a dumb idea in my book.
I don't have too much of an issue with the cloud-based games if they worked. I don't have slow internet by any means. It's quite good. And it's just, it has to be so much faster than than anybody's getting right now besides the stinking Google headquarters for it to be worth considering for me. The delay times are just present and stutters happen, and It's just not there yet, and I'm not entirely shocked that Stadia failed because, you know, it just, I don't think cloud gaming is the future at the moment. Maybe later, but
Yeah.
I did not have any great experiences with them.
And I understand your point you made earlier about how people might go back and they might want to play a certain game and they can't afford a physical copy. I understand that because I like to do that a lot with older consoles, like
right.
The PlayStation. When I got back into the PlayStation 1, I collected a lot of the games I grew up with. Luckily, those are dirt cheap. But for me, as long as I have it on something physical, like a hard drive or a disc, I don't really care. Where am I going with this argument? I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I'm just trying to say, like, the eShop's closing. I personally don't care because I've got the games that I need. There's nothing there now that I'm upset about that I didn't grab in time.
I get that, but I think you of all people would be like, yeah, you know, it's an older game, and you know, it's $60. You know, it's under $60. You know, they're cheaper, they're used, everything else. You can get a good price on it. But I'm sure there's a few games that you would like to pick up that you wish you could buy them for $60. You know, you wish you could because they just simply aren't that, and they aren't going there anytime soon.
I mean, not really, to be honest. Like,
no,
those two consoles were the most that I've ever spent time with. So all the games that I own are the ones that I wanted. Like, we were early adopters with the Wii U, so I had all the games that came out for those consoles during the years. Same thing with the 3DS. I wasn't an early adopter for that console, but I was early enough where I have all the launch titles, all the games that went along with it, all just a long time. Same thing with the digital only games. Like, I just went with the games. I understand for someone that maybe missed out, but Nintendo did announce this a year or two ago, so it's kind of their fault if they missed out on it.
No, yeah, no doubt.
I mean, like I said, I don't really care, to be honest. It's like when PlayStation 3 store, they announced that was closing and everybody was up in a roar about it. I just don't really care. Same thing with the Xbox 360. Like, that store is still up, mostly because it's tied to, like, the Xbox One still. But when they announced the closure for that, I'm just not going to really care.
Sure.
I'm not one of those people that's like that. It's
I know.
Time's moved on. I've moved on to the next console. Mostly of what I've played, I've probably played it on the console. Or if it's something that I want to play, it'll probably have a physical edition.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I think I've given my thoughts on it. Anything else you'd like to add, Zeth?
Not really. I mean, maybe just check those games out that we recommended. The 2 Zelda remakes and then Professor Layton games.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, hey, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you were able to snag the games you wanted before it closes down. This is Jace from JZ Productions, and have a good rest of your night.